All right, so we got a new hyped up AI coding tool that we need to talk about. And I made a video recently talking about ChatGPT's Canvas and like what they're doing with that for coding. And now we have a new kid on the block called Bolt from StackBlitz. And I'm going to talk a little bit of what they're doing with their new hyped up AI coding tool. In this video, I'm going to just check out the tool, talk about what they're doing, and use it a little bit to see what it can do and see what it's capable of. I'm going to try to build something kind of simple, like a portfolio page or something with a framework that I'm not too familiar with. And then I'll see if I can add some more complex stuff to it to just see what I can do with this tool and to push it a bit to see if it's actually capable of building out a full stack app like they advertise that it can. Let's just check out Bolt's README real quick. And Bolt is made by StackBlitz. If you're not familiar with StackBlitz, it's kind of a web browser IDE coding environment that's been around for a little while now. People usually use it to like quickly prototype stuff or to build proof of concepts on a browser to not have to, fire up a whole application because it has a lot of predefined stacks and programming languages that you can use in it, mostly JavaScript stuff. So you can do stuff with like React and Angular and Vue and even like vanilla HTML and CSS with it. Bolt is built on top of StackBlitz. So they kind of are adding the power of their IDE for a web browser that has the ability to be able to, compile code and install packages and build pretty much kind of a full stack application within the browser. And then they're throwing AI on top of that to help you with that building. So just real quick, I'm on their GitHub here. I'm looking at their README and let's just see what they have to say about it and what makes Bolt so cool and hip and new and hyped now. Bolt is a new AI powered web development agent that allows you to prompt, run, edit, and deploy full stack applications directly in your browser. No local setup required. If you're here to build your own AI powered web dev agent using Bolt open source code, click here to get started. It's open source, so you can take it and try to build your own AI agent that writes code for you. But there's plenty of people trying to do that right now, and seems like you can get a lot of VC funding if you do. So maybe you might want to check that out. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to try to use the tool and see what it's about. So what makes Bolt different? All right, so Claude, VO, etc. are incredible, but you can't install packages, run backends, or edit code. That's where Bolt.new stands out. So let's just call it Bolt.new because it seems like they really are emphasizing that's what it's called, which is weird that they put the top level domain in there for it as its name. So I guess we have to call it Bolt.new. It's not Slickback, it's a pimp name Slickback. So we're going to call it what it is, and it's Bolt.new. And what makes it stand out is that it's full stack in the browser. It integrates with cutting edge AI models with an in-browser development environment powered by StackBlitz web containers. And it allows you to run and install NPM tools and libraries like Vite, Next.js, and more. You can run Node.js servers, interact with third-party APIs, deploy to production from chat, and share your work via a URL. And that's one thing that people often use StackBlitz for. Many times you'd go to like a Stack Overflow question or something like that. And when someone needed a solution or was given an example of how to fix something, they would often do it quickly in a StackBlitz. It's kind of similar to CodePen. And that kind of gives you an idea what StackBlitz is. And you can do that with StackBlitz Bolt.new and share it with an AI-powered web app that you created all in the browser. So basically what they're doing with Bolt is that they're taking the best of both worlds, or maybe the worst of one and the best of another. I'm not sure about that, right? Because I personally have not really liked working within a AI text editor. Like I tried Cursor, and maybe I just need to try it a little bit more. Maybe it's just a skill issue, but I personally don't like Cursor. I don't like that I have to kind of prompt it on the sidebar, and I don't like how it interacts with my code. I felt that it was a little bit clunky, and that's a personal preference. Like I said, probably a skill issue. What I have been doing that I do like is that I use Claude, and I go to Claude and I, copy and paste my code into there, because then I can kind of give it bite-sized bits of code or ask it and prompt it with what I need it to do and do smaller segments of my code and not just have it write everything for me or not just have it take control of an entire file. And I just like that workflow a little bit better. So the thing I liked about ChatGPT Canvas was that you can do that and then do inline edits and kind of polish it up a little bit within Canvas and then copy that and put it in your text editor. And with Cursor, you can just do it all in your editor. But with this, it seems like you kind of have both. You have your chat and then you have an editor all within the browser, so you don't have to do it locally. And again, that seems kind of like a preference thing. I almost feel like I see use cases for this, but I don't know if it would be my go-to way to develop stuff, because I do like running my applications locally. But maybe if you're like quickly prototyping stuff, or you got an idea, or you want to proof of concept something and you want to just do it with Bolt.new and spin something up real quick with a new framework, or just test something out and have AI right there without having to install a bunch of stuff into your local machine to get it to work, then I kind of see how maybe that's how I would use it. But I still feel maybe I'm old school. I never really liked the IDEs in the browser. I never really liked CodePen. And while there were other tools like Code Sandbox and StackBlitz that did a better job of it, it's still like not my go-to way to develop, but I can see when I would use it. I feel like I'm kind of rambling on about it, but I just want to give my opinion on how I feel about these new tools, because it feels like they're trying to just throw stuff at a wall and see what sticks. And I don't really know if I would see myself using this like long term. So I just wanted to add that. So let's see what it says here. Some tips and tricks for like how to prompt and use Bolt.new. Be specific about your stack. If you want a specific framework or library like Astro, Tailwind, Shad, CN, or any other popular JavaScript framework, mention it in your initial prompt and ensure Bolt scaffolds the project accordingly. Use the enhanced prompt icon before sending the prompt by clicking enhance. Make the model refine the prompt more and edit the results before submitting. Scaffold the basics first and then add features. Okay, that's kind of the way I was going to approach it. And then batch simple instructions, save time, combine simple instructions in one menu. For example, you can Bolt change the color scheme and add mobile responsiveness. Okay, so it does seem like it's just kind of going to do everything for you. It's going to build the UI, it's going to build your backend, it's going to build your front end, it's going to use the framework that you want it to use, it's going to use the libraries that you want it to use. So that sounds pretty cool. So let's try it. Now, what am I going to build with this? I figured I'm going to start with something simple. One of the projects that I want to work on right now is I want to redo my personal portfolio in Astro. It's just something that has been on my list of things to do, and I'm playing around with the idea of maybe like looking for DevRel jobs, and I'm like, all right, maybe I need to update my portfolio, because I have my Dorian Develops portfolio that I updated not too long ago, and I did that with Next.js, and I was using a Tailwind UI template for the site, and I think that that looks good already, and I don't want to mess with that anymore, because you can see it right here. I think that that's fine. I'm not going to mess with this portfolio. Maybe I'll use it to draw inspiration, but this is my existing portfolio that I have for my personal website, and I hate it. It's kind of outdated. I updated it a while back, and I haven't touched this thing in a couple years now, and I just feel like it could use a refresh. So I'm wondering if I can kind of maybe see what it could produce if I throw this in there with a prompt to, maybe spruce it up a bit. Get started by just asking it to create a 3-page portfolio website using Astro. So let's just say that. Let's just say I want you to create a 3-page professional web developer portfolio website using Astro. I will include images to guide you on the designs, but I want you to update it to have more of a synthwave style. And I don't even know if that's a good prompt, but we're going to see. So I am going to add some images of my existing portfolio and see if it will give it any kind of starting point for it. So we're going to add that, add this. You guys have no idea how much I hate this this website, if I'm being honest. And then we're gonna add this, and I don't know what to expect. This might look great, or it might just be terrible. So let's just drop those images in here and send this prompt off into the wild to see what happens. I forgot to include the contact section, but I'm not expecting like this to nail it on the first shot. Like that's not my expectations. So we'll just see what it produces on the first try. All right, here we go. Now it's cooking. So It's kind of telling us what's going on. Certainly, I'll create the portfolio. Let's create it. So it's setting up the initial files. It's setting up the layout. It's setting up a header, and it's creating the Astro project. I had it zoomed in at first, but I'm going to have to zoom out because it seems like it's trying to get everything to fit in there. So I'm curious to see like what this looks like at first. So it looks like this CSS is incomplete. That's not good, but I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to give it some time because maybe it's just working. It does feel like it's taking a while. Do I have a preview yet? Nope, no preview. So I want to be patient here, but I've been waiting for a while. Even though I sped this up on the video, I've actually kind of been waiting for well over a minute now. So I think it's hanging. I think it's froze. So let's retry it. Maybe it just was struggling a little bit. Maybe the awesomeness of my portfolio pictures was just too much for it to figure out how to build that, and it just got stuck. So let's see. And this is why I like trying these things out like in real time, because then it gives an honest like real-time review from somebody that's using it, and you can kind of see when it messes up, and you can see whether or not it produces what it's going to say it produces. And I don't know, it feels like it takes forever. Like I'm going to have to speed up a lot of parts in this video because if it doesn't feel like I'm going to be able to just sit here and let you guys wait while this is like building out these components. And I'm getting this error message again. I don't have more details on the error. It just says that the message cannot complete its response. And it does feel like it's just kind of hanging again. All right, so it's hung again. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to like just start a new one here, because there's no way that I'm going to try it 3 times to get the same thing to freeze up on me. So maybe I'll improve the prompt, and I'm not going to add the images because maybe it's just struggling to try to like use the images to create something. I also noticed that it kept trying to just make regular CSS, and I wanted to use Tailwind, which I didn't say in my prompt. So I'm going to try to improve this a little bit. We'll do Astro. So in Astro, you can use different frameworks for your front end. So I'm going to say using Astro with Vue.js, right? Because I want Vue to be my front end on Astro. I don't want to just use the Astro templates. I want to use Vue. And then I'm going to say, and Tailwind CSS. Hopefully this does a little bit better this time. Kind of take it from there, because maybe the images were causing it to freeze. And it said it had this little make the prompt better. So I'm going to use that. So maybe it'll help me create a better prompt. Now you can see that this is a better prompt according to AI. And we're going to go ahead and pass this through. And it definitely does seem like a much better prompt, actually. Here we go. So it's creating a package JSON. Seems like it's moving a lot faster this time. So maybe I screwed it up by adding too many pictures and confused the AI. That skill issue, my fault, my bad. But it does seem like it's cooking now, like it's moving. I'll speed this up and wait till it's done, and we'll see what it looks like in the preview once this all generates. Okay, it looks like it's done now, and it's telling me that it's created the 3-page web developer portfolio, and here are the things that it did. It set up Astro with Vue.js and Tailwind CSS. It created a custom layout with the synthwave-inspired color scheme. Let's see what that looks like. I don't see anything. Created 3 pages, home, about, contact. Designed a project card component to show your projects. It used Tailwind for styling. So it says it did all of this stuff, and I'm not doubting that it did, but I don't have like any errors on the side here. So I did see that it did create a package JSON, has all this. Do I need to do an npm install? Is that what it needs? So since it is like a full development environment, you have npm here. Do I need to run it? Did I miss something? Should I have read everything else? It doesn't say anything about having to run it. Do I need to just do an npm run? Okay, so there's an npm install. There's still no preview. Okay, so then do I do npm run dev? Okay, so it looks like I had to fire it up. Interesting. There we go. So I am used to like using StackBlitz, where you pick the programming language and it sets up a project for that, and you get a preview in the browser because of the framework, not programming language, that you chose to use. So if you choose React, it'll spin up a React project for you. I don't ever remember having to do an npm install or npm run dev to get it working. But you do see that it created this portfolio website, and it's 3 pages, and it's using Astro. It's, you know, it's not the best portfolio by any means. Like it's definitely lacking some design, I would say, but it did follow the prompt. and it did create an Astro project. Let's look at our project here. You know, we've got our source here, we've got our components, our layout, our pages, and this looks like an Astro project to me. I'm not an expert in Astro, but this looks right. I've played around with it a tiny bit. It might be missing some things and I just don't know, but for the most part, it looks like it worked. It ran when I ran npm run dev. So we've got, like, it created a website, which is pretty cool that it built a functioning website that I can literally like click deploy on and send it off into the wild. Now, let's see if I can give it another prompt, and let's see if I can try to style it using some of my styles here. So let's see if I can do something where let me see if I can take a picture of this, and I'm going to try to give it a better prompt this time. And I'm going to take a picture of this, and I am going to tell it to create a hero section in the home page using the images that I am including as a guide for how to lay out the UI. Let's just try that. I'm going to try to keep it simple. I'm going to enhance my prompt with this because that seemed to give it a much better prompt the last time than what I had given it. And then I'm going to add the images using this button. So let's see if it will do that. Create a hero section from the homepage using the, okay. And all right, let's let those images upload and let's see how much UI it can do. I know that AI often struggles with UI. It seems to be one of the things that it kind of struggles with a little bit. I know that VO does kind of a good job to create basic UI elements. And I also noticed that AI struggles with like complex tasks. And those are two things that I know that it often struggles with. So I want to see if I gave it these images, if it's going to create that. Let's see. One thing I will say is that this takes forever. Every time it needs to generate new stuff here, the first initial generation was kind of long and slow. And I had a few of those errors the first time, but let's see what it created here. I don't have an image there. I'm going to see if I can use the same image. That's really cool. So yeah, because it's an Astro project, you got like your Astro tools down here. So that's neat that's actually included there, but I lost my terminal, or it's in my code. There we go. So it's saying I need to restart my terminal. So if I just kill that and then rerun that, but it seemed like it was fine. I don't think it needed to rerun it, but we'll see. Okay, it was fine. It doesn't have an image. Let me just take that super corny image of me right here and add it. I'm just going to save that image and see if I can link that image up here. So I'll go to the code, and actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop that image in here, and I'm going to say use this image as the hero image and add it to the folder where it should live in the project. I wonder if that'll just work. That'd be cool if that just works, which is honestly a bit overkill because I could just drop that in the public folder, but just for the sake of trying to get AI to do everything for me because I'm a lazy bastard. Let's see if it'll do that. Okay, so it seems like I got an error and it says that the message did not complete its response. So that seems to just be the way that it errors out, and it kind of sucks that I'm not getting like any kind of error messaging, like no log or nothing that's telling me what's going on, and that's a little frustrating. It also seems like it turned that image into binary here, which is interesting. I would expect to be able to like see a preview of the image there, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna click retry again and see if it'll do it one more time. Maybe it doesn't have the capability to like upload this image somewhere and then actually reference that image in the code. So I wonder if I can just drop the image in there myself and rename it. So I'm going to take control over here because I don't like what it's doing and I don't like what's going on here. So let me just see if I can I drag and drop an image into this public directory here? Drop it in there? No. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's given me the preview and it's got the image there, but the thing is that I can't seem to upload the image into my project, so I can't reference the image, so I won't see the image on the page. And I feel like I'm kind of getting hung up on this. My first experiences with it, like trying to take an image and regenerate like what I have built myself here on my personal portfolio, and I'm trying to kind of port it over to my little Bolt project here. It's struggling with it. It keeps getting hung up, and I'm kind of not really happy about like what's going on there. But I will say that it took the basic functionality of creating this and building this contact. Now I'm going to do a couple things real quick because it seems to be struggling with the designs and UI. I want to see if it will set up a little bit of the backend stuff for me. So I'm going to see if I can actually like make this contact form work. Do that using AstroDB. Let's see. I know that AstroDB is one of the backend features that Astro has. I haven't used it, but I'm assuming that it can be used to do this. And this seems like a good use case to try to make Bolt do a little bit more and to see if it struggles with that. And I don't have an API key or anything, so I'm wondering if it's going to set that all up, if it's going to ask me for it, and see if it'll walk me through that too, or at least, you know, tell me when I need to do that. And we wait. Oh, I finally got an error here. So it says cannot find module AstroDB imported from home project. Okay, so now so it seems like I have to install and run the command myself here. So we'll go to the terminal. It seems like I got an error there, so we'll just kill that, and then I'm gonna just run this AstroDB install here and see what it's got me doing here. So what did it do? So it says it created a new file for the DB config to define the Astro schema. We've created a contact table with columns for name, email, and created at. We've also updated the contact Astro to handle the submission forms. We import the necessary AstroDB components. Okay, and then fill out the form, and then you should redirect to the thank you page. To view the submitted data, you can use AstroDB's query. Now I got a problem with that install. So this is kind of frustrating, right? Because I feel like I don't have as much control as I would if I was just in my local development environment. I'm kind of left to the devices of this integrated IDE and this terminal. And there's some things that like, it was frustrating. I couldn't add the files directly for the image into the public directory for when I wanted to add an image to that home page. And now I'm getting an error from trying to do this import that it's recommending, and it's kind of sucking right now. So it says, should we try to fix this? So it's just going to have me run the same command. Let's see if I fix the problem. What does it do? So it says that it seems that the issue is NPM is trying to access and create a cache file. This error is not directly related to our project source code, but rather an issue with the NPM cache. Let's try to resolve this by clearing the cache. I feel like I've been down this road before with AI, and I think that now it's just trying random shit to see what might work, and I'm not feeling like this is going to work. So we'll see. Maybe it will, because it does seem that I am getting more ahead here, and it's asking me to install Astro.js here. So maybe we're getting somewhere. Let's see. Oh, I got another error. And I do want to say that there's a lot of waiting that's happening in this video. I'm just speeding it up so you guys don't have to sit through it, but it's kind of annoying because it does feel like it just takes way longer than what my machine would take, because I've got a pretty powerful laptop. Let's see here. Stack trace is giving me all kinds of errors that I don't want to try to debug. Like, I want you to do it for me. This isn't a really hard task, and it's just kind of annoying that I'm getting this error, and now it's not even giving me anything over here in the prompt and in the chat to fix it for me. Now it's just giving me all kinds of stuff that I don't want to try to do, and I don't want to try to go through the logs, but what's it say here? Stack trace or credentials. So maybe it's credentials, but it's coming from Stack Blitz. And I don't know what this error is. And for the sake of this video, I don't want to have to like try to struggle and figure it out, because I thought that would be pretty straightforward. It's frustrating because part of me is like, oh, maybe I could get it to just dump it into a log to see if I can get the contact form to work. But it feels like, dude, like that should just work. Like AstroDB is part of Astro. Like you should be able to set that up easily, or at least not give me errors. Or if you gave me errors, like don't make me have to like copy this and say like, just got this error. And now I feel like I'm playing this game that I play with Claude where, you know, it gives me shitty code that doesn't work. And then I have to go in there and like debug it with Claude or figure out why it's not working. And now it's probably going to give me some other cockamamie solution that's also not going to work. So I'm like getting frustrated with this. I can't say that it's solely because it's an integrated IDE text editor and development environment, but I feel like that doesn't make it better. Like that, I think that just makes it a little bit more frustrating. So what did it do now? Updated the contact form and the thank you page, and it says, so it's going to store the submissions into a local storage instead of a database, which I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that to get it to work. That was actually one of my ideas, where I was like, oh, maybe I'll have it log or store locally. But that's not what I want. I don't want it to do that. I want it to save to AstroDB because I want any form submissions to go into my database. So let's just see if it works. Let's see if it even has any validation in there. Test. And then let's send. Okay, so at least it's checking that, and it's using an email field. And let's just give it a fake email. And then let's send the message. And so that routing worked, and it sent me to the thank you page, and it sent me back home. So there's like some stuff that's working, and now I need to see like if I can actually find this in the local storage and see where it is. Oh, so here it is. It seems like it did save that value there. So that worked. At least I'm guessing that's what that is there. It looks like that. Yeah, Web Container API. So I'm guessing that's what's saved there in my local storage. That kind of worked. I really wish it would have set up AstroDB and had it work the right way. I did originally think like maybe I'll set up a headless CMS or like do something bigger with it, create a blog once I started a 3-page portfolio, because I felt like the 3-page portfolio website is a pretty simple task, and it created that, but it didn't do a good job at it. If I'm being honest, like it did the bare basics. And as I tried to get it to do more, as I tried to get it to update some of the styles based off of existing styles that I already had, it seemed to struggle with it. And I don't know if it is maybe because my styles were a little bit hard to copy here, but I don't feel like it was, right? Because if you look at what it actually did, it seems like it just kind of took the text, which it did a good job of recognizing the text and all that stuff, and it laid it out in the style that it already gave it with the initial prompt. It didn't try to change anything. It didn't try to really lay it out how this one was, and it didn't try to like create a hero off of the 2 images that I fed it. And then when I actually tried to add the actual image to it, it didn't really work out well. And then I had the trouble with setting up AstroDB to get that to save. And like, I feel that maybe for quick prototyping, it's good. Maybe, it's early, it's new, it's just getting started. It will improve, it'll get better. So I don't want to shit on it and just talk poorly about it right away, because I feel like that's not right to do either. Because as these new technologies come out, as these new tools come out, there's room for improvement, and they're going to grow and they're going to get better. But personally, I don't see myself using this much, not for projects that I'm actively working in that are already either like production applications or applications that I am building out that already have a lot of functionality and are, I don't know, what's the word, robust, or just featureful, where there's a lot going on, because it seems like it struggled with a small little task and a small basic website that I know I could probably link it, maybe through Stack Blitz and have that uploaded to GitHub. And if I was working on an Astro project locally in my GitHub, and maybe I can link it through Stack Blitz, because I'm sure that there's going to be some functionality for that, because I'm pretty sure you can link Stack Blitz to your GitHub. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that. But if they add that in the future, I still don't see myself coming in here, because it feels like I have to go out of my way to use this. Like even with Cursor, I didn't like Cursor, but it was already in my text editor, so it was easy to use. There wasn't any friction there. With this, like, I feel like I have to go out of my way to use this. Again, maybe spin up a prototype real quick, maybe a quick little proof of concept. Maybe if you want to play around with a new stack or a new framework that they offer here, because it seems like they have a few that you could choose from. It's like they offer Next.js, they offer Astro, they have Vite, they have just Remix and Svelte and Vue and just regular old TypeScript and React and all of these different frameworks that you could use if you wanted to kind of test something out and start with like a blank app and then build on top of that just to get a feel for building in that framework, then this tool might be good. But right now, I don't see myself using it. And I enjoyed Canvas a lot because it felt like I can pull out the code that I wanted to mess around with and fix and edit it there. But I still find myself, and again, this might be just because of it's being a habit or a skill issue, but I find myself still thinking I'm probably going to stick to Claude because I think the code completion is better on Claude and it's just better at solving coding problems than using this tool or even using ChatGPT with Canvas, at least for the meantime. Now, if Claude can do something like Canvas, like that would make me really, really happy. Or maybe I should give Cursor another try. I don't know, but I'd like to know what you guys think. I just wanted to run through this and use this app briefly and just get a feel for it because there was so much hype. You know, when a new AI coding tool drops, everybody is just super hyped up. And I feel like it's kind of a dud. And I don't know if it's just I had a bad experience, but I thought that it would be able to generate a more unique looking UI and it didn't. And then when I gave it a simple task of setting up the DB and taking in that form information, it didn't either. And then it resorted to giving me a bad solution that I wouldn't want to use because I wouldn't use that in a real app. Like I'm not going to store contact form stuff in local storage because that's just going to save on somebody's browser. Like, yeah, you can test that, but it's kind of pointless, honestly, to do that because you'll never really use that. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have tried this out, I'll link my video to the ChatGPT Canvas that I did a couple days ago because I walked through it like this. And I'd like to know if you guys want me to do any other videos on any other tools that you may have heard of or that are coming out or that do come out. I'm happy to keep making more stuff like this and just using stuff in real time and seeing what I think about it and sharing my thoughts and opinions with all of you jerk offs out there who watch my content. All right. With all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.